You ever look at those people who seem truly fulfilled and wonder what they're doing differently? Well, it turns out it's often not about adding more to their lives. More money, more activities, more goals. It's actually about something way more subtle. It's about intentional subtraction.
Okay, let's dive right into this, because this idea, it goes against pretty much everything we're taught. We live in a culture of more, right? But what if the real key to a better body, a clearer mind, and just a more authentic life is actually choosing less, but better? So let's explore that together, and we'll start with how we care for our physical selves.
So the first building block of an intentional life is how we approach our own bodies. And the Japanese philosophy of aging, it offers a really powerful model here. It's not about some aggressive battle against time, but more of a gentle, consistent practice of care.
So what's the actual difference? Well, on the left, you've got the common approach, fighting aging. It's reactive. It's using aggressive treatments to try and correct damage after it's already been done. But on the right, you have the Japanese approach of aging well, which is all about prevention. Just simple, daily habits that protect the body from preventable damage in the first place.
A perfect example of this philosophy in action is the habit of double cleansing. It's so simple. First, use an oil-based cleanser to break down stuff like makeup and sunscreen. Then you follow up with a water-based cleanser to get rid of sweat and dirt. Now, why does this even matter? Because our skin does most of its repair work at night, and if it's not truly clean, that whole repair process just gets compromised. This tiny 3-minute habit can literally prevent years of damage.
And it's just one piece of a larger toolkit of these simple, powerful habits. Things like wearing SPF 50 every single day, yep, even indoors, because UV damage is the #1 cause of premature aging. Then there's eating nutrient-dense seaweed to help boost collagen production from the inside out, or taking nightly hot baths to lower the stress hormone cortisol, and even sleeping on silk pillowcases to reduce friction on your skin. They're all small things, but they're done daily.
And this quote just brilliantly sums up the entire philosophy, doesn't it? A simple routine that you do every single day is way more powerful than some elaborate, intense routine you only do once in a while. Now, this principle of consistent preventative care doesn't just apply to our bodies, it's actually even more critical for our most important asset.
Okay, so let's take that same exact principle of preventative care and apply it to our minds. Our brain is the engine that drives everything we do, and it is incredibly energy intensive. So protecting that energy is one of the most important things we can possibly do.
The sheer cost of thinking is just staggering. Get this. Your brain is only about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes a massive 20% of your total energy. That's why you can feel completely exhausted at the end of the day, even if you haven't moved an inch from your desk. Your brain has been running a marathon all day long.
There's a term for this. It's called cognitive load. The easiest way to think about it is like running way too many programs on a computer at once. Every unfinished task, every decision you've got to make, every unanswered email, these are all open loops that stay active in your brain, constantly draining your mental RAM. This is what leads to decision fatigue, that feeling at the end of the day where you just can't make one more choice.
So here is the crucial point. When we feel mentally tired, our instinct is to reach for a distraction. But, and this is a big but, distraction isn't rest. Scrolling social media or binge watching a show is just more work for an already tired brain. It's more information to process. True rest is the exact opposite. It's mental stillness. It's disconnecting from all the input to allow your brain to actually recover.
This is also why many really intelligent people tend to avoid alcohol. It doesn't provide true relaxation. It provides sedation. It just numbs the nervous system and suppresses thoughts. But guess what? The stress is still there when it wears off. True relaxation, on the other hand, calms the nervous system and genuinely settles the mind. And once you experience that true relaxation, sedation just kind of loses its appeal. This drive to protect our mental energy is what leads many people to make some, well, seemingly unconventional choices.
One of the biggest ways people protect their mental energy is by actively choosing solitude. And look, this isn't about being antisocial. It's a strategic decision, and it's based on how their brains actually work.
Take a look at this. This is a fascinating study from the British Journal of Psychology. For most people, right, more social interaction leads to more happiness. Makes sense. But for people with higher IQs, the opposite was true. More socializing actually decreased their life satisfaction. So why? It's because social interaction is cognitively expensive. It takes a lot of brain power.
So choosing solitude is really an optimization strategy. It creates the space you need for focused, deep work to solve complex problems.
It lets you avoid that performative aspect of so much of modern socializing, which can feel really inauthentic and draining. It's simply an efficient use of your limited mental energy, and it honors a rich internal world that doesn't need constant external stimulation. And this principle of conscious choice, it extends far beyond just socializing. This brings us to the absolute core of intentional living, actively questioning all the social scripts and norms that we tend to follow on autopilot. And it all comes down to one single powerful question.
This one question is what separates an intentional life from a life lived by default. Am I going out tonight because I really want to, or because I feel obligated? Am I chasing this goal for me or for social approval? Am I having this drink because I enjoy it, or because it's just what's considered normal? Answering that question honestly over and over again is how you step off that crowded, predetermined path and start carving out a trail that is authentically your own. It is the foundation of well-being and the start of a life that's built on your terms, not on anybody else's expectations.
So let's tie all of this together. From how we treat our skin to how we spend our weekends, it all boils down to a philosophy of intentionality. And it's really a toolkit for designing a better life.
So here are the core principles for your own toolkit. First, question the default settings of your life. Don't just accept things as they are. Second, prioritize your long-term well-being over short-term comfort or pleasure. Third, treat your mental energy like the precious, finite resource it absolutely is. And finally, know yourself. What energizes you? What drains you? And have the courage to honor that, even if it looks different from the crowd.
And that leaves us with one final thought. Intentional living isn't some massive overhaul. It starts with one small choice. So, what is one normal habit, one thing you do on complete autopilot, that you're willing to question this week? The answer could be the very first step to unlocking your best self.